Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yvellisse. Thank you so much for joining. So today I really just wanted to sit down and play with some makeup. I have a bunch of new products that I'm actually super excited to try. Some of them I have been using for a couple of weeks now, and some of them I've only used like once or twice, so I was just like really excited to use them in a video. The first thing I'm actually going to be using is a new primer, and this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. It is really good. I like it. It has like a pink tint to it, if you can kind of tell. I've used it a couple times so you can kind of see where I used it, but you can kind of tell the pink tint in it, and so I'm just going to go in with a little bit. So I'm just going to grab some, and then I'm just going to put it on like my nose and my under eyes and my forehead, and then just blend the rest in with the rest of my face after I blend it all here. I also have my coffee, so also my puppy Toby's behind me, so if you see him move, yeah, don't be alarmed. Okay, so now that the primer is fully set in, I'm going to go in with my concealers. These are actually fairly new as well. I've used them for the past couple of weeks and I really like them. They are the Revlon PhotoReady Candid antioxidant concealers. I have two shades because the dark one is too dark for me, but the light one is just a tad bit too light for me, so I usually like blending the two, and I feel like it works really well. So I'm going to go in first with number 55, which is the shade Chestnut, and I'm going to put some all in my under eye, and then my eyelids, and then my nose, all up my nose, then on my forehead and my chin. Then I'm going to take the shade 65 Café and put a little bit, and I'm just going to do like 2 tiny drops on my where I have like the V triangle thingies underneath my eyes. I'm just going to put like 2 drops there, and I feel like that's a good amount to start off with or whatever. So now I'm going to blend this all in with a beauty sponge. This is the Equate beauty sponge from Walmart, and I actually really like this one. It's kind of has a really cool like little shape, so it like fits perfectly right here to go your under eye. And then I use this tip to kind of finish blending everything else out afterwards. So I'm just gonna go and start blending. And I am actually going to put a tiny bit more of the lighter shade just around my nose area right there, just because I feel like I do have a little bit of redness right there right now. So I'm just gonna blend that all in now. Usually I would go straight in and set this, but I'm actually going to be using a cream and a liquid product. So I want to use those before I actually set my face, just because if you set your face with powder and then put these liquid or cream products on, it has a tendency to make it look muddy, and it's just going to be harder to distribute the product, and it's just kind of messing up what you just did. I'm going to go in first off with my new cheek flushing tint from Revlon. This is actually the same line as that. It's the PhotoReady line, and so yeah, so I'm just going to use this. So this is just a liquid like blush basically. So I'm just going to take a couple of drops. I'm going to do this one at a time as well, and I'm just going to put it right there, and then I'm just going to get my fingers and just tap it into place, and then kind of in circular motions, and then with my other finger I'm just going to kind of start blending it more in. And do the same thing on this side. And then with what is left over on my finger, I'm just going to kind of rub that all on my nose, just once again for the whole kind of like sun-kissed look. So yeah, now I'm going to go in with my cream product. This is actually the NYX Conceal, Correct, and Contour palette. They are all creams. which I really like. I like the formula of these, they're really nice. But the palette is actually 03 Deep, if you're wondering. But yeah, so I'm just going to take these two, a mixture, and just kind of dip into both of those. And then take that and just lightly dab that on my cheeks. I'm just going to tap it on, and then I'm going to start blending. And then my nose. Then my forehead. And I'm just taking a little bit at a time because I want to build this product up more. And I know this is more like a contour kit, but I really use it as a bronzer. I really don't like contour with it. But yeah, so I just kind of lightly build that up to how I want it. So now that I look very bronzed, I'm finally going to go in and set my face now. So I am going in to my e.l.f. translucent setting powder. So just a little bit, and then dip into that, kind of tap some of the excess off. And then I'm just going to set all the places I put concealer, and then I'm actually going to set even where I just put the cream and liquid products. So basically I'm just setting my entire face. Okay, so now I am going in with the thing I'm probably the most excited about. I am going to go in with my eyeshadow palette. So this palette was actually gifted to me, and so I'm so excited to use it. This is the Yes Please palette from ColourPop. And oh my gosh, guys, I actually played around with it yesterday, just a little bit. I didn't use like a ton of it or whatever. I just really wanted to test out some of the colors just to kind of see what I was working with. But oh my gosh, it is so pretty. Like, it is so nice. So yeah, I'm going to dip into probably like 5 of these shades maybe. So I'm going to take this shade called Full Zip, and I'm just going to get this more like a flat brush, and I'm just going to put that all over my lid, just to kind of set it for the rest of the eyeshadows that are going to go on. And then I'm going to go and take the same shade with a different brush and just kind of blend that all everywhere, just to make sure that it's on the lid but also on the crease. Okay, so I am taking the Wet n Wild brush, and I am going in with this beautiful yellow color right there. It is the shade Mischief. So I'm just going to take this as my first transition shade, and I'm just going to buff this all over my crease. When I used this last, I just kind of like barely tapped into this color, but I can see it blending so well and just like building up so nicely. And it's kind of subtle. Obviously you could make it more intense, like if you added like a setting spray to your brush or whatever, but right now it is just blending out so nicely. Okay, so now I built this color up how I wanted it. So now I'm actually going to go in with the next shade right beside it called GNO, and I'm going to take that one and just pack that on my crease as well. And I don't know if I said, but I'm using the same brush just because I feel like it's going to be a good mixture of both of the colors. And the combo of these colors is actually very pretty. They're working very well together. Okay, now I am going in with the e.l.f. blending eye brush. I'm going to be taking the shade right here that's called GNO. I think I accidentally a minute ago said that this one was called GNO, but this one's actually Note to Self. But yeah, so this one is GNO, and I'm just going to be using this e.l.f. brush and just lightly going in my crease and just being more careful with this shade, just because I want it to stay right on my crease and I don't want it really going above or below. And there is a little bit of kickback with some of these shades, but I kind of don't mind because it still is a nice formula and it still looks good on the lid and it is doing what I want it to do. So yeah, it doesn't bother me as much. But these shades are very pretty, I will say. They're so nice and they're working so well together. So now I'm going to go back into this first Wet n Wild brush that I used, and I'm just going to buff everything together just to make sure it looks nice and cohesive. I feel like today I'm looking more in the mirror than I am in the viewfinder, so I'm so sorry about that, but I'm really just trying to focus on what I'm doing. Okay, now again with this blending eye brush, I'm going to actually go in with this shade right here, the darkest shade in the palette. It is called French Kiss. I'm going to go into that one. It is a nice like chocolatey looking brown, and I'm just going to add this into the outer corner. I really don't want this in the inner corner, or I'm just going to add it in the outer, maybe bring it like halfway, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this color just to give it a little bit more definition. Okay, I kind of built this color up a little more than I wanted to. It's subtle, yet it's kind of bold, so I really do like it. But I'm going to blend it out with the other brush, the original brush that I used. I'm just going to blend this all out, and I'm not adding any more product. I'm just going in and just wanting to make this look, once again, more subtle and natural. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this shade called Butter Cake. I am loving this shade. It looks so pretty. And I'm actually going to take my pinky. I feel like I want this as close to my lid as I can get it, and I really don't want it to go super high up. So I want to stay really, really close to my lid with this shade. So I'm going in with my pinky. Okay, now I'm going in with the brush that had the brown on it, and I'm just lightly going in on top and not putting any extra product on. I'm just going in and kind of buffing out where I had that brown, just because I felt like I lost a tiny bit of it with the gold shimmery lid color, but it's fine. And I feel like there is a tiny bit of fallout happening. I'm taking this brush and brushing through everything on my under eye just to make sure that nothing is stain that doesn't need to be there. Okay, so now I'm going back in with this palette, and I'm going to be taking Mischief first, and then I'm going to take Note to Self, and then French Kiss. So basically all the colors that I used except G and O, and I'm going to just be putting these all on my under eye. I'm going to go in first on the yellow with this kind of thicker Wet n Wild brush. Since it is kind of a lighter color, I don't mind that it is going to be a little lower on the under eye. Now I am taking my e.l.f. smudge brush, and I am going in with the Note to Self one, and I'm just putting a little bit on, and I'm just putting this pretty close to my lid. I'm just lightly going to build this color up. I'm not putting a ton, but I'm just putting enough to where you can see it. Okay, now I'm going to go into the darkest shade French Kiss again, and I'm going to just put this all under the under eye, but I'm going to get really close to the lid this time because I don't want to drag this down too far, because you don't want to look like a raccoon. Okay, so now I am going to go in with my mascara, but I'm going to use my primer base first. This is a voluminous base from L'Oreal, and I'm just taking a light coat of this on my eyelashes and also on my bottom lashes, just to kind of give them a little something, just so that way they can be primed and ready to go for the mascara. So I'm actually not going to let this dry. I'm just going to go straight in with my mascara. This is the Essence Volume Stylist 18-Hour Lash Extension Mascara. That is kind of a mouthful, but yeah. And this is actually a very inexpensive mascara, and it works really, really well. Okay, I added a couple of coats of mascara on the top and bottom lash line, and now I am going to go in with my blush and bronzer. I know I added a liquid and a cream blush and bronzer, but I still want to add a tiny bit more color to my cheeks. So I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade 35 Coral, and I'm going to add a little bit of that, just a tiny bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my cheeks. And this is my Eco Tools brush as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit more color. And then that's really all I'm doing for blush. And then with bronzer, I am going in with the Beauty Benefits bronzer. This is the angled blush brush. And I'm just taking a little bit of that bronzer, and then I'm just adding a tiny bit of that to my cheeks where I added the bronzer in the first place. Then just a little bit more on my forehead and underneath my neck and chin. Okay, so now I'm going in with my eyebrows. I didn't realize I hadn't done them yet. So this is the Maybelline Brow Precise Micro Crayon Pencil in the shade light brown, I believe. I don't see the name on here, but I think it was light brown. And it is very thin because it is a micro pencil, but you can kind of see it is so thin. I only got this like a week or two ago, and I fully don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. It is so thin, which kind of makes it easy to kind of get in some of those places, like in the sparse areas, but I don't know. I'm still trying to see if I like it or not, honestly, but I'm just going to go in and fill in my brows and then spoolie through them to blend out the product. Okay, so now I just finished my brows. So now I'm going to go in with my highlight, and I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Crown of My Canopy. And I'm taking my e.l.f. bronzing brush, and I am using that to put this all over the high points of my face. So just the high, like, cheek area. I'm not putting a ton on, and then on my nose, and then the bridge of my nose, and just kind of bringing that down a little bit. And yeah, and I'm actually going to use this for inner corner highlight as well. And I'm taking this brush from BS Small. It is kind of like a circular type of shape. I don't know, I really like the shape of it, and so it's really good for inner corner highlight. So I'm just taking this and adding some of that. I'm not adding a ton, but I'm just adding a little bit on just to give it a little more something. Taking this as well and just putting it underneath my brow for my brow bone highlight, just to give that a little something as well. And then I'm going to just use my finger to kind of pat the rest of that product on my brow bone in place. And I'm going to spoolie through my brows one more time. Okay, and lastly, I am just going in with a lip gloss. This is a Wet n Wild Mega Slicks lip gloss in the shade Bronzeberry. And I'm just taking a light layer of this on my lips. I didn't want to put a ton on, I just wanted to add just a little bit to give it a little bit of color. This is the finished look. I hope you guys like it. Once again, leave any comments down below. Any recommendations that you would like for me to try, you can just leave those as well, and I will make sure to try to do those for you guys. But yeah, so like this video, subscribe, and yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. That was a struggle.